Hi, it's Saturday, April 9th, 2022. It's been a while. Anyway, if you're watching this now, I'm gonna say this for the future, I guess, for Saturday. I'm playing in Pittsburgh tonight. You should come at Porky's in Etna. The Snips, Coffee Lines, the Flannels, Low Life Drifters. There's 5 bands, like $10. Can't beat it. And I'll be there. It'll be a good time. They have great food, yada yada. Anyway, you've heard all about it. Anyhow, um, I met a guy at Camp Pennsylvania last year. It's Brandon Lewis. He owns Punkerton Records, and they're putting on like this big fucking. It's called Hell is Ohio Festival this year. I think it's this one city. I'll fucking confirm that with him. But anyway, without further ado, we got Brandon Lewis. Hello.
Hey, how's it
Hey,
going,
it's
man?
still good, man. It's still working.
Yeah, everything's
Awesome.
good.
How you been?
I've been great, busy, a lot busier than, lately than I have been in a while, but yeah.
That's
So,
good.
what about you? I mean, you got a lot going on too, so.
Yeah, it's been busy. The shirts have slowed up a little bit, which is gave me a little time. Like I want to get into like sublimation and shit like that with like koozies and yada yada yada. So I've been like kind of looking into that. And dude, I'm like a weirdo, so like I collected toys forever, and I have like a $20,000 toy collection. So I've been selling some of that off because like I just don't fuck with it anymore. So
I've been selling a lot of stuff. Just I'm selling my vinyl collection now.
I,
It's
mine's next to go too, man.
Yeah. I mean, I love them. 'em, they're fun to collect, but I don't actively listen to them, and I haven't in years, so,
I've
I
come to look yeah, they're kind of a pain in the ass, really, you know what I mean? When you once you're, like, using your phone and, like, Bluetooth or something like that, like, to get up and change that fucking record every couple minutes is just like, "Man, this sucks."
Right, I mean, you're sitting there for maybe 15 minutes, unless you're literally sitting right beside it, yeah.
Yeah,
But, so,
and you
yeah,
know,
I'm selling that, I'm selling a little bit of if it's
yeah,
a
and that
signed record, I'll keep it, but, yeah, I've been getting rid of a lot of stuff, so.
same here with the records. If it's signed, I'm keeping it, but otherwise, no. But, like, this year too, I was just bitching about this on our other show yesterday, like, this year we get, like, after if you sell stuff on eBay, Mercari, yada, yada, after $600, you get fucking, uh what is that, 1090 or whatever, but you get fucking taxed for it now, like, you already there I it just pisses me off, it's like a car. They, just every time it changes hands, they get tax money, like, that's bullshit.
See, I don't know how legal this is, but what I've actually been doing is when I sell something, I'll write an invoice through Stripe, through my business, so that, it comes in as business income, and I can I can save on shipping if that's the case, because a lot of people, like with my vinyl record. So, I don't know the legality of doing anything like that, but you know, it's easier for me because I mean, yeah, I might get hit with a little bit on the tax, but I'm gonna pay that fee to PayPal or whatever. Anyways, now obviously, if I have cash, I'm gonna take the cash.
Yeah, yeah. But no, dude, that's really smart, I mean, that's a really good idea. 'Cause, like, that's I don't know, I just like I said, I was bitching about it yesterday, like, there's no reason if I own it already and it's got taxed, like, you shouldn't have to tax it again, like
No, no, absolutely not.
yeah.
No.
So
The only reason I do it is because I get like a 70% discount on shipping. So if I'm shipping a record to somebody across well, maybe not a record because I pay media mail, but
right.
something else, I can ship it and I can save a ton of money, and it just sort of makes up for it. So
Yeah, you can totally tell we're both, like, eBay nerds, man, like,
yeah,
like, I've been
right.
doing it for a long I remember, like, the old school eBay that was, like, pirate eBay, you'd send a check and just hope for the best and stuff like that back in the day when it first started.
Or you couldn't file a complaint, man. I mean,
Me
I remember they got in a lot of trouble because people were they just started. There's this big thing of people ripping each other off, especially when the Beanie Baby craze started to die down.
yeah.
People were trying to dump all these because they knew that they were about to lose a ton of money, and they were just ripping people off. Yeah, it's bad. But
Yeah, can you imagine, like, investing all your money into, like, Beanie Babies and being like, "It's my retirement."
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. So when the Funko Pops, right
Oh,
before they got really big, I had quite a collection of them. So like I'm talking old school. I'm talking like when they first, not now. I mean they're everywhere. On everybody's got them now. But when they were actually sort of rare, I bought a bunch. I thought, you know what, maybe one day, and I did. I mean, I probably spent maybe 500-600 bucks, but I sold it for 5-6 grand. I mean, I had some Michael
did you
Jackson
really?
that I sold for like 200 or 300 bucks.
Dude,
Um,
that's
so I sort of lucked out. I mean, this is several years ago, probably 6 years ago, right before it started to become like a really big thing. But you know,
Yeah, I
I
have, like, every Game of Thrones one, man, like, that's what I'm hawking off right now too. I have a White Walker, it's worth, like, $300.
yeah, I had a lot of those that really seriously the Game of Thrones one, I if you sold them before the end of the actual show, yeah, you could
Yeah,
make some money, but
dude, that White Walker, I think, was worth 500 before the show ended, and then, like, the 8th season happened and
tanked,
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah. Anyway, well, tell me about this festival, man, I wanna know about it.
Yeah, so when I had met you, I just sort of started Punkerton Records, and, honestly, going to Camp Pennsylvania was sort of a big influence for that, for Hellas, Ohio. So, got to talking, with everybody from Punk Rock Saves Lives, and got to be pretty good friends with Rob from there. And I thought, well, Punkerton Records really needs sort of its own charitable wing, something that I can do for charity events or whatever. And for those not familiar with Ohio, especially the Columbus area in general, there's a big sign that says "Hell is real" when you're on the interstate leaving Columbus, and I sort of ripped that off. So instead of "Hell is real," it says "Hell is Ohio," um, and it sort of started off as sort of a charity thing where we would do compilation albums, and I got to talking with Samantha at Swine City Brewing down in Fairfield, Ohio, and thought, you know what, let's do a big sort of charity fundraising event, and because I had started to become sort of close with Punk Rock Saves Lives, I'd done some work with them at a couple of anti-flag shows. Um,
Yeah, I did see that.
yeah, and thought, let's see what we can do, and we wanted it to be local, or specifically mostly just Ohio.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
we got who we could, that is from Ohio. I mean, I tried to get some bigger people like New Bomb Turks and stuff like that, but obviously I couldn't do that. But we got who we could, and I mean we've got a really good lineup. It's just so everybody, it's June 17th and 18th. Um,
That's 2
so
days.
yeah, so we're
Oh,
doing a
nice.
Friday evening. The big headliner is 500 Miles to Memphis and Some Kind of Nightmare. And then the big headliners for Saturday. When I say big, I mean they're Ohio bands, so I'm sort of limited into who I even approached. But Tiger Sex is going to be headlining the Saturday, along with Bundy and the Spins. They're sort of one of the bigger Ohio bands that are going to be here. But I mean, there's six bands playing Friday, and I think 12, maybe
Oh, wow.
13 on Saturday. So it's going to be an all day event that Saturday. But I mean, it's really cheap. I mean, we wanted to make it affordable and sort of access for everyone. So even like sponsorships, we made them super cheap. It's like $100 to sponsor each logo on everything, and it sounded like a good idea at the time, and I still believe it is. But now, like, I keep getting people, they're like $100, cool. So like I have to keep adding logos to the.
Oh, yeah.
So I think probably by the time that happens, we'll have 30,
It'll look
sponsors.
like a race car.
Yeah, yeah. But it's cool too because I remember Camp Pennsylvania. I remember thinking that I love being able to sponsor that. I want to make it a little bit more affordable. Now, granted, Camp Pennsylvania is way bigger than what I got going on.
But you gotta start somewhere, man. Like, I mean, look at last year compared to this year, what they already have going on, you know what I mean? Like, I mean, there's 300 of us at a fucking field in the middle of God knows where in Pennsylvania, you know what I mean? But, like, now, I mean, it's you know what I mean? So it's just
yeah, yeah, and that's sort of the goal. Next year, if it'll be limited to just Ohio bands next year, we'll see. We'll kind of you know mess with
yeah.
that when it comes time. Kind of just depends. But this is the first sort of event for Swine City, so they've never done a big outdoor. I mean, they've had bands play outside, but they haven't had anything like of this magnitude. So we're hoping for a good crowd. It's $15 for that Friday, $20 for that Saturday.
Oh, wow.
I mean, $20 to see 12 bands is good, especially. I mean, Tiger Sex alone for
Dude, 20 bucks
$20.
to see anything is a good deal, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
gas is $5 a gallon.
and not only that, you can pay $30 to get and to get both of them so for the weekend. And actually, right now, um, if you buy tickets before May 1st and you type in early bird, you can get another $5 off. So $25 will get you, you know, I mean, you can't beat that. That's
No, man, that's
18 bands for $25.
yeah, that's really good.
And
Well,
so
yeah, you
punk
just
rock
started
saves
the big
lives. Sorry, what?
it was you yesterday, wasn't it, that put the $10 thing on Facebook that started the whole ruckus?
Oh, I said, yeah, stop with $5 shows. We can get into that.
Alright,
Let me
good,
real
good.
quick.
Alright,
So
go ahead, man, I'm
this
sorry,
is
I
going to
just
benefit Punk Rock Saves Lives.
okay.
Um, and what it is they're going to come out and do their bone marrow drive and all the other awesome things that they do. And so basically, we're going to try to give them more exposure. After we pay the bands with ticket sales. We're gonna split the money up between like paying the bands and then giving some to Punk Rock Saves Lives, and so it'll still be sort of the charity wing of Punkerton Records. Real quick, because I'd hate to not mention all the bands playing. So Friday, 500 Miles to Memphis, Some Kind of Nightmare, Viceroy Kings, a we have one band that's not from Ohio. They're called Extra Arms. They're from, I believe, Michigan. If I got that wrong, I'm sorry, guys. They just happened to be touring through, and I
Oh,
really dug their sound. And I was like, you know what? Yeah, absolutely. I'd love for you to be on there. Pretty awful. And then Coxey's Army. They're playing an acoustic set. So at Friday, doors will open at 5. Well, I mean, technically they open at 3, but doors open at 5, and so they're going to play an acoustic on the inside while everything's being set up outside. So that's Friday, and then Saturday, same thing with acoustic yard sign. He's one of the guys that I've released on my label. He's going to be doing an acoustic set, sort of while everybody's kind of filling in through the doors. And then DOS, the Plaid Disasters, the Plan Bs, Reedy Weeps, huge, Lame Ass Dads. I'm actually wearing this shirt. Hashtag Lame Ass Dads. Check them out, by the way. Prime Directive, Darling Waste, Tiger Sex, Trash Night, and Bunny and the Spins. So they're all solid bands, and I think that if you're in Ohio or even neighboring states, it's definitely worth the drive. I think.
yeah, I honestly I don't if I don't have a show that weekend, dude, I might stop out, at least that Saturday, you know what I mean? You guys are more toward Columbus?
So this is I live more towards Columbus, but this is down near Cincinnati.
Okay.
And I'd be remiss if I didn't mention some of the sponsors because I figure they'll get a kick out of this. Stupid Rad merch
Oh, nice,
totally
dude.
sponsoring this, so that's really awesome.
He's the
Um,
man.
right? I mean, honestly, it kind of blew my mind that he wanted to sort of help.
Yeah,
Like,
dude, he's been on a tear lately. He's the reason I started screen printing.
oh
Like,
really?
yeah, like, I was just talking to him last year, well, like, then to 2020 or whatever, like, he was doing these live streams on Friday nights where he'd drink and just bullshit. You could jump in and, dude, I started talking to him, and that's where I was just like, "Man, I wanna fucking do that."
Yeah, I mean, I guess because it's so cheap. Because obviously he could have told us no, but he was like, "Yeah, I'd love to," and I'm like, "That's awesome." So, yeah, that was pretty cool. And then real quick, so Amish Electric Chair Studios out of Athens, really awesome studio. It's modeled out of excuse me, it's modeled after the Blasting Room, which anybody a fan of punk rock knows what I'm talking about. Morbid and Miserable Records, so another record label because I'm completely against gatekeeping. So why would I keep like that's yeah. I
Yeah,
was like,
good
of
for you.
course, absolutely, would love to have you on. 451 Spirits, they excuse me, they're out of Columbus, alcohol.
Mhm.
Stupid Rad Merge. Uh, And this next one of the members of 500 Miles to Memphis, it's actually his company. He's got a painting company, so they're called Lighthouse Painting. So they're going to be sponsoring it. Um, this really cool barbershop called Psychobilly Barbershop out of Columbus. They're sponsoring it, and then this really awesome gaming expo that's in Columbus. I've got a lot of Columbus ones. I got Cincinnati sponsors coming, but a lot of Columbus, which is really awesome. But it's called Tour Gaming Expo. And if you go to hellasohio.com, you'll be able to see all this. But yeah, I wanted to mention them too because that's sort of, you
Yeah,
know,
dude, not you got some really good shit coming in there. Like that's you know what I mean? That's really good.
yeah, it's gonna be a fun time. Lots of good bands, lots of alcohol. It's at a brewery, so
Yeah. So what like I've never seen the setup there. Do they have like an outside stage or something out there?
I just went there for the first time several weeks ago to see the Bastard Sons. I helped set up a show there, and so you walk in and there's like these giant vats, that they're brewing beer, and then there's a like a to your left, and then there's the bar, and then there's a few places to sit. But then you walk outside, and it's this huge open area with I would say there was probably 30 picnic tables out there.
Oh, shit.
So what we're doing is they're gonna get a stage. We got a sound guy coming out, and it's all fenced off. So, um, and it's also in an industrial area, so we can be as loud as we want, which is awesome.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, so we're sort of building this whole thing from scratch. Like I said, they haven't had any huge shows. I mean, they've had shows outside, but so much so that we're building it. I mean, they're getting a stage specifically for this.
And then it's gonna be a permanent stage after, like, it'll be there.
I believe so. I don't know if it'll be like a takedown where they can take it down and put it back
Right,
up.
but they could tend on do like, doing this stuff again, obviously, like
Oh yeah, yeah,
yeah.
absolutely. Samantha there has been super helpful. I mean,
Dude, she's a nice lady.
yeah, right. I mean,
Yeah.
from the get go, she's just been super supportive of this whole thing, and we've been sort of bouncing ideas off each other. And so, yeah, I mean, her and I are, the brainchilds of this. But yeah, I mean,
Dude, you're s
it's really nice to see how many people have sort of been super supportive of this because honestly, I thought it was just gonna end up being like a small show, but I mean, with all the sponsors and everybody who says they're gonna go, I mean, it'll definitely be the biggest show I've ever thrown. So
yeah, dude, and, like, I don't know, you throw enough shows to know, you know what I mean? Some of those nights you just you get fucking 10 people or whatever, and it's discouraging as fuck, man. Like, it's hard.
it really is, and that's why, so that's originally why I started with sponsorships. I was like, okay, I've got to pay for sound, which is expensive to basically build sound outside, and I've got to pay these bands. So I got to figure out some way to do it. So I was like, well, let's make sponsorship. So even if no one shows up, we'll have everything paid for it. But I don't think that's going to be the case. I really think that there's going to be a lot of people who show up for this thing. Um, at least I say a lot. It'll be a lot to me, regardless. I'll be happy if we get 50 people there, but it looks like it's going to be in the hundreds at least. So
That's great, man. Yeah, like I said, there was, what, 300 of us in the field last year? Like I said, you gotta start somewhere too, and, like, that
yeah.
you know?
Oh, and honestly, shout out to Laura and Terry. They, especially Terry. If I've had an issue or something I didn't know about, I've immediately messaged her and said, "Hey, I know you got a lot going on, but what do you think of this? Or how would you handle this or that?" And yeah, so I mean,
Dude, I do the same thing with Terry.
right?
Same thing all the time, yeah. Laura's great too, like, I always feel like Laura's really, really busy, and I don't know why, like, Terry and I have just been friends for, like, a couple years now, but I'm just always like, "Hey, so, you know?"
Oh
She's
yeah,
yeah, they're good people.
yeah, yeah, no, absolutely. I was on their Sunday Spin, a few weeks ago, and that was what 20 minutes of actual recording. We talked for God, probably an hour. Uh, but yeah, so Camp Pennsylvania was a big sort of inspiration for this, and definitely Terry's helped a ton. So
Yeah, and, like, I don't know, Camp Pennsylvania was weird to me because, like, at the time, I was my tent was soaked at, times 'cause it was so weird because everything got wet at night, remember that? Like, were you up on that hill? Like, everything got soaked at night, and it was just, but
oh
so
yeah,
I was
well
sleeping in my car.
see, I was set up where all the merchandise or whatever it was. And I remember trying to set up that first day, and we were just getting pounded by the rain. And I'm brand new to any of this, so I don't have like an industrial strength tent. I've got my one I ordered off of Amazon, and I'm getting soaked. All my merchandise is getting soaked. And then, what I thought was going to be 70-degree day turned out to be like 36 that night. I'm freezing. That's why I ended up over at where you guys were,
Yeah,
because it was just miserable that first night.
yeah, and then, like, all the wood's fucking soaking wet, nobody can start a fire.
No, that was a
But, like, looking back on it, like I said, after, like, going back, after we did it and all, looking back, I'm like, "That was actually a really good time," you know what I mean? Just being around all those people, like, I was a fun time.
yeah. I mean, it really was. I got to meet a lot of people that I wouldn't have
R
met before.
like internet people.
Right, because I'll social network with people, but how often am I out in Pennsylvania? You know,
About as often as I'm in Ohio.
exactly. I'll get out to Pennsylvania a couple times a year, um, and so speaking of Pennsylvania, I will be in Pennsylvania in September, however, to see Gaslight Anthem. So if you're in Pittsburgh for that,
What's the date on that?
I believe it's September 27th, but I could be wrong, so don't quote me exactly. It's sold out though, so if you don't have tickets, it might be hard,
No, I'll just go down and drink or something.
right? But yeah, so all the people I met, the bands that I now have contacts with, which I could not even explain to you how tremendous that's been. That's been helpful
Oh,
completely.
dude, same here, yeah.
Yeah, right. And so, yeah, I mean, I'm hoping that people can sort of get that experience with Hell is Ohio. Like I said, I know it's only Ohio bands. That was intentional. But I needed the network, and just Hell is Ohio. So we've got comp albums too. The amount of networking. I mean, I've got over 100 bands on my comps.
So what, there's 3 of those out now?
So there's two officially out right now. Volume two comes out with CDs. Should be here Friday. So we'll have those. We're not doing vinyl because that we're just not going to do that with.
Yeah, I get
But
it.
I just finished up Hell is Ohio Volume 3 today. So we're going to release that, I believe, May 7th.
Okay.
Uh, we're waiting on one other band to do an acoustic song, because I specifically asked us, hey, would you mind making this an acoustic song? Because I love the song, please, And so they're going to do that for me. But yeah, it's so volume one was a lot of like cow punk and pop punk type stuff. Volume two, basically street punk throughout for the most part. And then volume three is pop punk and like emo. And I mean, I don't want to sound biased, but volume three is a really good. Like if you're into that kind of music, you're gonna love that one. And I will be announcing more about it in the coming weeks. But um, and then we'll eventually get that on CD too, because I want to be able to sell these for Hell is Ohio Fest. So
Mhm. Yeah. So I gotta know, like, the Facebook post, man.
okay, yeah, it was supposed to be tongue in cheek mostly. For those who don't know, I put a post about stop making shows $5. Uh, make them at least $10. If your friends can't afford it, um, have them drink in the parking lot before the show. It was supposed to be a joke about drinking. That's really what
Right.
it was supposed to, but it sparked such a debate that I mean, I couldn't ignore it. I tried to put in my 2 cents. I've been throwing shows, so I'm 35. I've been throwing shows since I was 15. So 20 years I've been throwing shows. When I first started throwing shows, we threw shows for $5 a piece. And I'm from a small town in Texas, and we threw them for $5 a piece.
I was gonna ask you that, man. I can hear you have an accent. I
Oh,
probably
yeah,
do too to you,
coming
though.
out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, that's cool, man. I dig it.
Um, but basically that's sort of what it was about. Is I wasn't trying to make it. I was just trying to make a joke, and and then I was pointing out the fact that it's not 1996. We can charge $10 or more. I don't want to sound like I'm talking negative about how people run their stuff. But from an economic standpoint, if you don't own that venue, $5 makes bands get paid less most of the time. Now, granted, there are arguments to be made where they may sell more merch, and there's a bunch of different scenarios about that. But it got heated. The whole Facebook post got heated, man. People
Yeah.
were
Well, dude, I didn't see it till you even had the edit in, you know what I mean? You put that edit in there, it's like, I was just trying to, you know what I mean, make a joke here, and, like, there was, like, 90 some comments, and I'm like, "Jesus," I'm reading down, I'm like, "Holy hell, man," like,
it got up to like 100, and I think it's like 120 comments now. And I'm just trying to explain to it. Look, I don't care. But so I do throw shows. Punkerton Records, we sort of do a little bit of everything, sort of like you do a little bit of everything. Um, and so, from a promoter who doesn't own a venue perspective, for me, I can't charge $5 a ticket, or I'm going to lose out on my butt, because you have to pay the sound guy $150, or I mean, you might be able to work out stuff with venues. I'm just saying, on a basic level, if I have to pay $150 for a venue for sounds, that means I have to sell 30 tickets to break even. You just made the comment. What about those shows where only 10 people show up? Those shows where only 10 people show up, I have to pay the sound guy out of pocket. Paying people out of pocket is not my idea of fun. I you know,
No,
and
that's not good
so
business.
it's poor business, and as a
Yeah.
business owner, I don't wanna lose money. Um, and I don't care about making money on shows.
No,
Half
and I
the
know what
time,
you're saying, yeah.
it's door splits. I don't make money on door splits, the band split that. I take that money and I pay the sound guy. I'm just there for the ride, I'm there for the fun, I'm there to see a show. If there's a band that I absolutely love, "Hey, you guys wanna play this show? You'll get a door split," they'll say, and 9 times out of 10, "Are you getting a cut?" And I'm like, "No, I don't plan on getting a cut," you know? I'm not playing music, I'm not do if I put in a ton of work, I mean, it'd be nice, but, um, yeah, I'm not here for the money,
Right,
it's
it'd be
not
like it yeah, it'd be like monetizing this, man, like, I don't you know what I mean? The same thing, like, in a sense, because like, I don't expect to make money from this, you know what I mean? Like, again, sure, if it happened, cool, you know, if somebody's gonna pay me a little bit, yeah, I'd take it, but, like, no, it's not happening.
Oh, yeah, I mean, Punkerton Records, I've been doing it for, legally for about a year and a half now, and I d you don't start an indie label to make money, it's sort of a labor of love and for the scene. And a little bit in my background, I grew up in the Dallas punk rock scene, and also in the North Carolina punk rock scene. So when I was maybe 21, I was in like this street punk band and all that stuff. Well, I joined the army, and for about 10 years there, I didn't go to any shows. And when I say I didn't go to any show, I mean I literally didn't go to any shows. My last show, I went to a No Effects show in 2010, and I didn't go to a show till 2019, so 9 years,
Wow.
because I was married and she hated when I would. She hated the idea of me going to concerts, I guess.
You just had to say you were married.
So
I get it.
after when I got separated, I started going to shows again, and the first show I went to was the Off with Their Heads show, and just I was like, this is what I've been missing. Like, I miss this music, and so I started going to shows again, and then boom, pandemic hit, and I was sitting around doing nothing, and I was like, I've got to figure out something. So that's when I started the label, and like I said, it was never about the money. I mean, yeah, it'd be great if we could all make money doing what we love, but I'd rather just do what we love and throw in shows. I mean, I have no musical talent whatsoever. Like, I think it's cool if anybody can play a chord on any instrument or beat a drum or something. I mean, or sing well. Like, that's awesome to me. And so, the best I can do is try to provide for the scene, and throw shows or facilitate things for bands, help them out with merch, or, albums or recording or whatever I can do. And, so I didn't really mean much by the $5 ticket thing.
But, like, I agree with you.
But you'll never find me throwing a $5 show
Yeah,
unless
like
I own a venue. Eventually, that's the goal. But
oh, you want to eventually?
yeah, so I okay, so I'm medically retired from the army, and so I don't have to worry about a lot of things. And so, as far as financial stuff goes, but when I was married, I was saddled with a bunch of debt from the divorce, like most people are.
Mhm.
So when that gets taken care of, uh, ultimately that's the goal, is to own a venue. That's all I've ever wanted since I was, probably 12. And so if it comes to that, then maybe I'll reevaluate my opinion on $5 shows. But somebody pointed out, one of the comments, instead of $5 shows, just make it free, because you're not really. And if I ever own a venue that sells alcohol, I'm absolutely gonna just pay the bands out of that. Again,
Yeah.
I'm not looking to collect a salary. I don't care, as long as the business is doing good and I can pay all my employees. Because I don't know the first thing about bartending or running sound. There's certain things I just don't know how to do, and I can learn, but I'd rather help out anybody who needs. If there's a sound guy in town who's really good at what he does, I want to pay the sound guy. If there's a bartender who just kicks ass, I want them at my place. You know what I mean? And
Yeah, you do. I've done that, man, and that's a fucking that's a hard job.
yeah, right. I mean, I've
Yeah.
thrown a lot of shows that have, had a lot of people there, and you see a bartender who's just like, they're sweating and they're just running their ass off.
Dude, and you figure if the customers learn your name too, like, you're fucked, dude. All you hear is your name all fucking night long, like 20 people at a time. Like, oh man, I just horror stories I could tell you.
Right, right. But yeah, so that's ultimately my goal, is to sort of own a venue. And whether it be in Columbus, or I live in a small town outside of Columbus now, called Newark. I'll probably move to Columbus eventually, but it would be cool. But we'll see.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll get to that point. If not, I mean, I'm pretty content doing what I'm doing.
Well,
You know,
you're like,
so
yeah. Well, like your impact on the scene is huge, and like it's a good one. So
I'm trying. I'm trying to have an impact in a positive way. You know, I feel like Columbus is building something. A few shout outs to people in Columbus who are doing really good things. Vinny and Matt, who own the Stoop. Um,
oh yeah, I just saw some bands play there. The Snip played there, I think.
yeah, yeah, I missed that show actually. I was
Yeah.
kind of disappointed, but they've got a DIY punk rock club if you're in punk rock and you're underground punk rock, that's the place to play. Um, and then um, and then there's this sort of new, on the scene blog website, thing called Bands in the Bus. And Rachel, she's doing really awesome stuff with that. And there's a lot of other people. I've been working with them, and they're doing a lot of things that that it's got that old school DIY mentality. And
Hmm.
you know it's I
Yeah.
mean, sort of like with what you're doing. You're like, you know what, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna start printing, and I'm gonna start a podcast. And
So, funny story about all this is I came out of a bad breakup, and that's why all this started. I don't have a lot of friends here. Like, my buddy Nick runs all my tech stuff here for me, but Nick works 2 jobs, yada, yada, has kids, so not a lot of time to hang out. So, I didn't really have anybody here, so the music was kinda just like, so that's where I kinda gravitated towards, and, like, I don't know, with the t-shirt thing, I just wanted to fucking I just wanna be part of it, man, like, one way or another, you know what I mean? Like, that's where I feel good, that's where you know what I mean? All you people are, like, fucking awesome. Everybody's there, just seems like, for a positive reason, and that's just you feel good around it, you know what I mean?
yeah, yeah. I mean, and that's the scene I grew up in, and I want to sort of emulate that. um I believe that there are a few flaws in the scene around here that definitely need to be addressed. But I think overall people are sort of moving towards that. And I say around here, but I mean just the punk scene in general, I guess.
Yeah.
And it's nice to see people just doing it, and building a community. Um, and I mean, going back to Camp Pennsylvania, it's like, you know, a group of people got together and said, "Hey, let's have a big fucking festival," you know,
Yeah, and,
and
like
it's
yeah, we got, like, 4 states worth, like, I'd say New York, like, Buffalo, you know what I mean, that area, like, you guys in Ohio, Pennsylvania, and New Jersey, like, there's, 4 states here. I just see people working together like crazy without the 4,
yeah, yeah, I
and
love
it's
it. I
just
love
yeah, I do too, man.
like the. I mean, I on for instance today, I'm trying to help one of the bands on my label book a tour, and the amount of support I got. Everybody's like, "Hey, check out this venue, check out this guy, tagging this guy. Hey, can you put these guys on?" Um, between all the way from Chicago to Nashville to Pittsburgh, like That's cool, man. You
Yeah,
don't, you know.
it's incredible sometimes.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
so tell me about your show you got coming.
Oh,
You
yeah,
mentioned it on the
yeah, we're, playing Porky's, Saturday. So Vinny, and Billy from Loud Love,
yeah.
I guess they're, Shannon, I guess, left the band. So, they're not Loud Love anymore, and I filled in for them down at that, York show in February. And afterwards, I'm like, so is she coming back or what's the deal?" I said, "'Cause I'll fill in again," you know what I mean? I was just dude, I haven't been on stage, I'll bet you, in fucking 5 years or something. It was good for the soul and everything. So we got talking and it was just like, "Alright, let's fucking do this band." So it's, Vinny, Billy, and I, and then there's their friend Pete who's gonna come play guitar Saturday night just for that show. But and we just have, like, I don't know, 8 or 9 covers now. It's the only second time we played together. Like, they're all together down in New Jersey, but I just send them my shit, like, you know what I mean, through the internet and
Yeah.
whatnot, and Vinny's a producer too, so I just, like, he'll send me whatever, and I'll lay down bass to it and then send it back to him, and he just mashes it all together.
Funny story about Vinny, right? So I'm throwing my very first. So this is July of last year. I'm throwing my very first Punkerton Records show. And last minute, I had a band drop out. So it's Prime Directive, Plan B's 3D Weeps. Okay. And this band on the Camp Pennsylvania Facebook group's like, hey, we're called Loud Love. We'd love to play. Now I don't know anything. They're from Jersey. That's 8.5 hours away from where we're at. I'm like, sure, whatever. What do you want as a guarantee? It can't be a lot because I don't know how good the show is going to be, whatever. So they come, they kill it. After their set, Vinny says, hey, we've never played a show before. Thanks. I was like, bro, really? Like, I mean, you killed it, and I'm glad you killed it, but it's kind of messed up you didn't tell me. No, but Vinny's great. But yeah, it was just like, y'all haven't performed in front of anyone. Like, I mean, I'm sure they've all played in front of other people, but as Loud Love, they had never played before.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that was their first gig. I remember that gig actually because that
Yeah.
I remember the band dropping up and, like, they just came out of nowhere. I didn't know Vinny or nothing, and I just made a smart ass comment to him, like, the first time I met him, I made it my cousin Vinny fucking reference to him, you know what I mean? Because that's what I do. He shot back with one at me, and I'm like, "Okay, me and this dude are friends, like, this is good."
Yeah.
But, yeah, that's funny, man. That's totally him, though.
Yeah. I mean, and it was, dude, it was so punk rock to just on literally that morning, I think we needed somebody, and they're like, hey, we'll drive from Jersey,
You
you
said it was
know,
8.5 hours.
8.5 hours to get from where they live to Columbus, they said. And
What?
they just, it might have been the night before, but I mean, it was a short notice that like no sane band would do this. You know what? Our first show, let's just go to Columbus and play with a bunch of people we've never met. Yeah, dude, it was unreal. Yeah, I love them. So that's cool that you're getting to play with them.
Yeah, they're definitely good people, and I just feel I don't know, they're both Billy and fucking Vinny, like, they're good musicians, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've seen them. I mean, I saw him at Loud Love a couple of times,
Same here.
camp and that. But from what I've seen, yeah, I know they're definitely
Like, Vinny, he's, like, an author of a book. He has a book on fucking Amazon, like, I'm like, "Dude, is there anything you haven't done?" Like, he sent me a comic that he inked one time. I'm like, "Holy fuck, like, who has time to learn all this stuff?"
right.
Like, that's a lot of shit.
Yeah, no, he's no, they're really really cool dudes. But that goes back to, I mean, Camp Pennsylvania. If I hadn't have been in their Facebook group, this is before camp. It's 2 or 3 months before camp. Um, and that's the sort of community I like. I mean, yeah, it was a little crazy that they drove far, but just in general, I mean, there's so many people who are like, "Hey, I can help with this,"
Yeah.
you know, um, and I don't mean that to say like I'm going to ask everybody for help and help me for free, but there are a lot of times where people are like, "Hey, I know that you want to do this, and I know you don't have a lot of money with your business. I'd love to help you at either like for free or at a discounted rate." And I'm like, "That's really cool. Like, what can I do to pay you back?" Um, for instance, Hell is Ohio. I made the artwork for it myself, and I'm not an artist. I did my best. But somebody's like, "Hey, put me on the flyer and I will make you an awesome ass flyer." And I'm like, "Okay." So we will be revealing that in the next like week or two. It'll be super cool. So
Yeah. Well,
uh,
like, John Grove is my financial advisor from Coffee with Lions, like, the singer. He's my financial advisor now, so, like, I totally get it, man.
He's cool, man. So he was at, camp, and I had never met him, and he comes up and he's like, "Hey, okay, I'll be honest. I didn't sell very much merch at Camp Pennsylvania at all. I between the fee to be a open up a vending and sponsor, I mean, I lost on my ass bad. But the connections I met. So I met him. He bought a shirt, which is cool. I see him. He'll sport it at shows. He'll wear it. He's got live photos of them playing, and he's wearing it. And I'm like,
He had
man,
it on the next day because they played I went down to see that they put me in a fucking the Hilton when they opened for the Queers the next day. It was that Sunday. So I drove down to Harrisburg, and I met them, and they had all this, but he had that I fucking
yeah.
yeah.
I was like, that's cool, man. Like to me, that's cool because I don't expect anybody to wear my merch. I don't expect anybody to buy my stickers or my button pins or my shirts or even come to the shows that I throw. Not because of me. They're there for other reasons. But when people purposefully, go out of their way to support you, man, that's cool to me.
Well, dude, I was just like at camp. I was like, "I'll buy a shirt from you, man. Don't worry about it." And then I ran out of cash, and I was like, "Fuck." I'm like, and I thought about it like a week later, and that's why I fucking ordered one from you. I was like, "Son of a bitch, man! I forgot to buy one off you," and I felt bad. And
Yeah, no, man, and
uh,
see, that's cool to me.
yeah,
Like that's super awesome.
yeah,
Uh,
dude, everybody supports each other. It's neat.
yeah, yeah. So if that's the theme of this episode is, you know, that's how the scene is, and that's how it should be. So
Yeah, everything's really come. I don't know. It's just a good place to be right now, and I thoroughly enjoy. Like I said, I want to be a part of it in any way possible.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's a privilege to be a part of it.
Absolutely.
Some of the people I get to talk to on an almost daily basis or meet. I mean, I mean, let's not even talk about these like childhood heroes that I'm now Facebook friends with. I won't
I
name
know.
drop anybody, but it's pretty cool to me. Dudes that I've been a fans of since I was like 8 years old. Are like, hey, what's up? Like
Yeah,
that's cool. But just some of these forward thinking people, these really resourceful, insightful, people. We've mentioned some of them throughout here. Like, that's a privilege to me, especially not being a musician. I was out of music. I didn't even go to a show for 9 years, and here, Punkerton Records and Hell is Ohio is, kicking in the door, and people have been so welcoming. So
yeah, and we're glad to have you, man.
yeah, I mean, dude.
Yeah,
Thanks for having me on here.
yeah, no, and I mean the whole scene in general. Like you've definitely had a good impact on everything. Like from what I've seen you, you know what I mean. Like you're doing good.
Oh yeah, you are too, man. I mean, dude,
Uh,
when I saw you're gonna do this thing, I was like, man, I'm gonna be on there someday.
we made it.
So, right,
Yeah. Is there
right.
anything else you want to push or anything before we call it?
Uh, no, mostly just the Hell is Ohio stuff. We've got some bands that we're talking to that we're gonna be releasing some music, but nothing, you know.
Okay. Like,
So
to hellisohio.com?
yeah, okay, so yeah, I should probably say it. So hellisohio.com. Kind of check out the event page for everything. You can find us on Facebook, Hell is Ohio, Instagram, Hell is Ohio, obviously, and then Punkerton Records. You can check us out. All the other stuff we got going on. I mean, we have a bunch of other shows coming up. So you
Those
know,
Prime Directive vinyls are awesome looking too, by the way.
yeah. So real quick on that. So Prime Directive, we are going to release their next album, but they're sitting on a current album, and you know how vinyls are so far back. They finally got their vinyls for their current record in not that long ago, and so they let me help sell some of them online, and they're beautiful. Like the pink ones are amazing, but personally, I love the transparent blue. I just
That's what I like too.
so if you want to get one and you don't, I prefer if people go to their show and buy them. But if you don't live in Ohio and can't catch Prime Directive, go to punkertonrecords.com and you can order some of these really sweet vinyls. Like, and it's a great album. If you want to check them out, band's Prime Directive. But we're gonna do some work over the summer and fall, and eventually get another album, and that's going to be released through Punkerton. But Um, right now, it's that what they're sitting on is it's called Nuke. It's an independent release. So
Okay, awesome. Well, dude, thank you for coming on. Thank you for your time. Sorry I slept in because I'm stupid, but I didn't even sleep in. I just fell asleep sitting up like an idiot.
I honestly I forgot all about it. Was playing video games. So you know,
Good deal, man. Well, I
I
appreciate you taking the
appreciate thanks
time.
for having me on.
Yeah, dude. No, we'll see each other soon.
Yeah, definitely. All right, buddy.
All
I'll
right.
talk to you later.
Sounds good, man. Take care. That was Brandon Lewis from Punkerton, Hells, Ohio. Go to the website, do all that shit, check it out, buy merch. You know the drill. Just do all that stuff. Like us, you know, like we can talk. Just support everything, man. It's a good place to be. Anyway, you heard the man. Make sure you get tickets to that fucking festival, man, because that sounds like a good time. Like I said, if I'm not playing a show, I think I might make a stroll out there. But anyway, until next time, buy a ticket, take a ride.